What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another day in this shit show we call life. It's only the 10th of January, and it already feels like it's been a long, long year. Um, First, I want to start off by just, giving my condolences, to Renee Nicole Good. The murder was senseless. Um, it just furthers the argument that ICE is just a modern day Gestapo, and they really have no place going into any of these states. You're just creating chaos. You're not bringing law and order. You're going after American citizens, indigenous people, and the way you're going about it is just criminal. But that's a topic for a whole nother day. As I do in every episode of this podcast, I just want to take the time to thank anyone that listens, gives a like, a follow. It really means a lot to me, and I appreciate that. Today's topic is our episode is called self destruction because we are really heading for self destruction with everything that's going on right now with this administration. When Trump calls someone a dictator, this person's a dictator, that person's a dictator. In most cases, they may be Maduro, Chavez, Hussein, Gaddafi. But I think the bigger question that should come to mind is not whether they are bad people or committed atrocities or acts against humanity, but what is it the United States can get from that country? America is real gangsta when it comes to imposing their ways, their wills, and basically taking things that don't belong to them. We have a history of destabilizing governments, starting coups, not because that person's a dictator or because of how they're treating their people, but because we get something out of it. We get resources, oil, you know, and then we just leave that country in shambles. Iraq, Afghanistan, now Venezuela. And then even here at home, ask Hawaii. They had a monarchy. They didn't want to be part of the United States, and we imposed our will on the people. Um, so when Trump says he's fighting for peace, which I don't understand how you fight mom for peace. That's like trying to fuck for virginity. It's an oxymoron. He's really just saying, I'm imposing my will. I'm trying to, not make America great again, but, you know, make myself rich, make my donors rich, strengthen, America, but at what sacrifice? Um, it really doesn't make any sense to me that we impose this will through atrocities and regime changes and we prop up these puppet leaders for our will. And then what makes things really scary right now with this administration is that he's threatening, or I guess it's promising, to start bombing parts of Mexico to deal with the drug cartels, which makes absolutely no sense to me. You want to kill people in Mexico because they're bringing drugs into the country, but you pardoned the former president of Honduras who was brought drugs into the country. So what? Because he benefits your, I don't know what you want to call it, your plans, he will bend a knee to you. He blew smoke up your ass. That's why you pardoned him. Because you didn't know who he was initially. But whatever. This is really heading for self destruction if we bomb Mexico and go to war with Mexico. Because Mexico isn't Venezuela. They're not going to bend the knee. They're going to fight back. And I feel like a lot of allies are going to come to their support. A lot of innocent people are going to die because of this. And then he doesn't realize the economic impact that this will have on the United States. The United States relies on Mexico for a lot: agriculture, manufacturing, shipping, energy. Uh, and then I don't think he is really thinking this through. Cartels are not government officials or regimes. They're not going to file a grievance to NATO or the UN. They're going to retaliate. They attack force with force. So a lot of Americans are going to be caught in the crosshairs. I don't know if you ever looked at the border between the United States and Mexico. It's busy as hell. You constantly have Americans coming back and forth in and out of Mexico for medication, for medical procedures, for dental work, to go on vacation. You're just asking the cartels to kidnap people, hold them from ransom, kill journalists, kill vacationers. And I don't think he's thinking that through, or better yet, he just doesn't give a flying fuck about you, which I've been saying time and time again. And the proof is in the pudding. Doesn't give a fuck. It's all about him, strengthening his legacy, with his ballroom and his meme coins and, putting his name on the Kennedy Center. He will sacrifice you in a heartbeat. And I do not understand why MAGA is so enthralled with this man. He is a thin skinned, makeup wearing, McDonald's eating son of a bitch. He's an evil person, and you're so admired with him. You keep drinking the fucking Kool-Aid. And then, just when you think that's bad enough, he still has this kick about Greenland. He's like, oh, we're going to control Greenland whether they like it or not, aka military force, or the ideas come up that he will bribe the people of Greenland, which is going to be our tax dollars going to another country, which is not unusual for him because he keeps giving all this money to Israel. But what purpose does that serve? How does that help the American people? And then you're threatening to also go and bomb Colombia. And then we're tugging on the Cape of Russia, possibly going to war with Iran, with Israel. And then how are you putting our military in so many different areas and you're not even sure if you're going to have any allies? Several leaders of different countries, France, Germany, Canada, Italy, Poland, Spain, and the UK have joined Denmark in defense of Greenland and their sovereignty. They have warned and threatened the United States, and I feel like it may come to military action. So now we're fighting our friends and our enemies. At some point, we're going to implode because we're fighting a war here at home too, domestically. So you're going to put ICE and the National Guard against the protesters of the Trump administration. Plus, you're fighting a war with all these different areas. It's just a shit show. And when does it stop? This is not Germany, or this is not Russia. I mean, this isn't some dictatorship. And he doesn't seem to get it. He wants to be a dictator. He wants to be Hitler. But guess how that ended for him? Guess how it ended for Napoleon? You got so much power, so much notoriety, and then the shit hit the fan. And then we have to pick up the pieces. The next president has to pick up the pieces. There are other things that we could be focusing on to truly make America great, which we've never been great. We've been good. We've made progress. And I don't think he's capable of understanding any of this. He doesn't understand international policy. You can't just go into a country because there's a dictator or a cartel. That'd be most of the world. It is not up to the United States to police the world. It's up to the President of the United States to work and focus on making the country a better place. But instead, he's just so focused on his legacy and enriching his family and his donors that he doesn't give a fuck. And now we're heading on the verge of just destruction and chaos and division, and it's just too much. So I'm asking all you MAGA minions, take off the red hat, stop drinking the Kool-Aid, pull your head out of your ass, read a fucking book, stop using your smartphone just for porn and sports and AI and whatever the fuck you all look at, and fucking wake up and realize this man doesn't give a fuck about you. To all the people who are like, I don't do politics, politics is fucking doing you. It's screwing you over. You know, when your health insurance goes up and you lose your job and you can't afford groceries and you can't afford a house and your apartment's too expensive, that's all politics. Get off the sideline, get in the game, and fucking do something other than complain. To all the people who, you know, I couldn't vote for Kamala, you know, I couldn't vote for a woman, or we already had one black president. Put your bullshit aside. Stop thinking narrow-mindedly and fucking do something. Think of what's good, not just for yourself, but what's good for the country. Stop voting against your own interests. Well, that's just me, you know, just being honest. I'm going to get off my soapbox now. Catch you on the flip side. Stay safe. Peace out.